before the video starts, about 98% of you guys are not subscribed. Subscribing and clicking that bell does help me out a lot in doing what I really want to do. Thank you guys so much for all your support. What's going on, guys? Rogue TCG here, bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile. This is going to be for Infernoble Knight Flame Swordsman. I recently put a poll up and all the polls have been decided, so the order of the videos will be determined based on the winners and losers of the poll. So this is Infernoble Knight Flame Swordsman. 44 on the main. This is more of like a concept than an actual fully fledged deck. This is taking aspects of Infernoble post Isolde ban and the new Flame Swordsman cards and kind of meshing them together and fixing up the ratios just a little bit comparative. Before you used to max out on yugioh just because it was a good normal summon, but now fighting Flame Swordsman is also a very powerful normal summon. This deck searches a lot. It has a lot of consistency, so we can afford to play only 18 monsters, 15 of which are main deck monsters. But that's enough yapping. Let's get to the deck profile, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts afterwards. We're going to start with double Immortal Knight Phoenix Gearfried. Sorry, I don't know where I got Knight from, to be honest. 3 Fighting Flame Swordsman. On normal or special, it adds a spell trap that mentions Flame Swordsman from deck to hand, and if it's sent to the grave in any means, you can send a Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions it from my deck or extra to the grave. That's very important because it means Flame Swordsman is going to be getting us advantage every step of the way throughout our combo. 1 Salamandra, the Flying Flame Dragon. This is kind of a Garnet, just because this sends from deck or extra, and we want to be sending this, so we don't really want to be seeing this. When it's equipped to a Flame Swordsman or card that mentions it, that card gains 700 attack. And if it's sent from the hand or if it's in your hand or grave, you can target a warrior you control to equip it, which is very good for the Infernobles because it's any warrior. And you can target 1 warrior you control, equip it, and if this card's sent to the grave, you can add a Salamandra spell trap from your deck to your hand. Another one of our Garnets. This isn't really a Garnet if we open the Salamandra spell trap, but we really don't want to open either of them because they're both searchable and disposable. Next, Infernobles. We are on Triple Renaud. This is the best one. This is the extender if you control Fire Warrior, so even if you control Fighting Flame Swordsman. So that's why we're replacing yugioh with Fighting Flame Swordsman, because it's not a tuner, just like yugioh. And the main crutch of the deck after Isolde ban is Angelica to search the field spell, as from what I've seen. We're on Triple Renaud. It can special summon itself, and if it's special, you can target a Fire Warrior and equip spell that's in your grave and add it, or banish or engrave and add it back to hand. So it's also just the best one in general. We are on 1 yugioh. If it's equipped, if this is an equip, it can't be destroyed by card effect. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If it's normal or special, you can send an Infernoble or a Fire Warrior from your deck to the grave. And if it is in your grave, you can target a warrior and equip it. Equip this card to that card. So this card is very powerful. Lets us put our extenders in our grave, like our Turpin and such, and our Oliver. So it really lets us just really... or not Oliver, I apologize, but it really lets us just put stuff into the grave to extend even further. We're on 1 Mogus. It protects our stuff by battle. Once per turn, if it's in the grave, you can shuffle into your deck 3 other Fire Warriors or Noble Knights, draw a card. If it's in your grave, and it can equip. This is also just another 4 that's in the deck, so we can summon this and then summon Renaud to go into Angelica to keep going. This lets us recycle a lot of our cards and lets us actually have a grind game. We are on 1 Turpin. If this is equipped card, the equipped card can be treated as a tuner. If used for a synchro, you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If you control a monster equipped with an equipped card, you can special summon this from your hand or grave. But if it's summoned from the grave, you have to banish it when it leaves the field. If it's in your grave, you can target a warrior you control, equip it to that monster as an equip spell. So this is just basically a free level 4 extender in the deck, so we are playing it just because we can dump it off of our yugioh. Next, our honorary Infernobles. Let's go to Oliver first. We're on 1 Oliver. If it's an equipped card, the thing it's equipped to is untargetable, which is very powerful. Once per turn, you can send a Fire Warrior or an equip spell from your hand or face up field to the grave to special summon this card from your hand as a level 1 monster. And if it's in your grave, you can target a warrior control and equip it.
So this guy is just functionally a worse Renowned in hand because he can spell himself as a level 1 tuner by sending something else. But he can also be a level 4 tuner on normal, so we are just playing him for that. He's also very good for that graveyard effect, as I was mentioning, with Ogier just sending to the grave to equip it and make something untargetable. Our honorary Infernobles, we are running 2 of them. One Courageous Crimson Chevalier Bradamante. That's always treated as Infernoble. You can discard this card, target a warrior you control, equip it with an equip spell from the deck that can equip to it. When this card not equipped with an equipped card is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card and sent to the grave, you can special summon it, and if you do equip a monster your opponent controls to this card. So this card's just a good monster to just summon. It's a level 1 warrior tuner. It can get any equip from your deck, which gets Durandal, which is one of our primary play starters, or Almace, which is just Durandal. So we are playing it. It does have that niche little steel effect attached onto it too. And then lastly, 1 Fire Flint Lady. You control a warrior. You can special summon this from a card from your hand. You can send this card from your field to the grave. Special summon a level 4 or lower warrior monster from your hand. If you do, your opponent can't target it with card effects. So this allows us to get Oliver and stuff out of our hand if we've already normal summoned and we don't want to use it. So just a very powerful card, considering I'm actually running more of it, but it is hard once per turn for both. Next, our Searchers. World Chalice Searchers. Heritage of the Chalice. Add a Noble Knight or a Noble Arm from your deck to your hand. If a Noble Knight equipped with a Noble Arm is destroyed by battle and sent to the grave while this is in the grave, you can add this card back to your hand. So it's recurable searching, so we are running 3 of it. You can only use 1 effect of Heritage once per turn, so you can't just keep using them over and over again, which is nice for balance reasons. Then we are on 1 for 1. We do have a lot of level 1 monsters in this deck that we can just get out, so we are running it. We're on 1 Reinforcement of the Army. These are all warriors, so we're running it. We're on 1 Terraforming. We really want to find the field spell, so we're running it. We have a lot of cards that our opponents can't interact with, so we're running Triple Tactics Talents in order to maybe get us back on track or take stuff from our opponent if they do interact with us on turn 1, and then we can take stuff from our opponent to link off on turn 2. We are on 1 Call by the Grave because we really don't want to get drolled. That's like one of the main weaknesses I found with this deck is during testing is droll like wrecks it to no end. We are on the Flame Swordsman cards. Triple Fighting Flame Sword. It adds a card from your deck to your hand that mentions Flame Swordsman except for Fighting Flame Sword. Then has some other effects which are kind of irrelevant. When an attack is declared involving a fire monster, you can target a card on the field, destroy it. Your opponent activates a card effect that targets Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions it and negate that effect. So it is a modal card that if you have no cards you really want to be searching in your deck, it's just a useful card. So it's a very powerful Rhoda. It's a Rhoda that can interact with your opponents too, if needed. We are on Triple Flame Swords Realm. If your opponent can't activate cards and effects when you normal summon a Fire Warrior monster, which is very powerful for preventing our opponents from interacting with our Ogier or our Fighting Flame Swordsman, because, yeah. We don't really want our opponents to interact with those. Once per turn, you can send 1 monster from your hand or face of the field to the grave. Special summon a Flame Swordsman from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon. Once per turn, when a monster declares an attack, you can target a warrior control until the end of the turn. It loses exactly 1,000 attack, but all the other monsters you control gain 1,000. So this really helps us finish off like our opponent. It gets us a free body on board, and it allows us to really access the Flame Swordsman engine by cheating out the original Flame Swordsman from our extra deck in order to get one of our bosses on board. So we're running 3 of that, and our last Flame Swordsman spell is going to be right over here. It's actually the Salamandra spell. It's Salamandra Fusion. Equip only to a Fire Warrior monster. It gains 700 attack. If the equipped monster be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can destroy this card instead. When this card equipped to the fusion monster you control, you can send this card and the equipped monster to the grave, and if you do special summon 1 Flame Swordsman or 1 fusion monster that mentions from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon. You can only use the effect of Salamandra Fusion once per turn. So functionally what we want to be doing is we want to see Flame Swordsman and a way to Swords Realm. We want to activate Swords Realm. We want to send, we want to normal summon Flame Swordsman. We want to activate the effect. We're going to add Flame Swords Realm from our deck to our hand. Then we're going to activate Flame Swords Realm. We're going to send something from our hand or something from our field. We can even send the Flame Swordsman if we want to the grave to summon out our Flame Swordsman from our extra. Then our Fighting Flame Swordsman will activate its effect when it's sent to the grave, sending to the grave Salamandra. Salamandra is then going to activate, adding Salamandra Fusion, which we then automatically equip onto our Flame Swordsman, activate the effect to get out our big boss monster. Now that we're in the extra deck, I want to just point that little combo out. the basic Flame Swordsman combo, but I'm going to keep going down until we get to the extra before I cover the extra deck monsters. Triple Noble Arms Museum. All fire warrior monsters you control gain 500 attack. Once per turn, you can pay 1200 life. Add a Noble Arms from your deck to your hand, except for Museum. Once per turn, if the previous effect is applied this turn, you can target one Noble Knight's monster card in your spell trap zone, special summon it, and you can't activate the effects while you do not. You can't activate this effect while you did not control. While you did not control Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles, you can't special summon monsters the rest of the turn except for warriors. So this is one of our warrior locks. This is why our extra deck looks the way it does. We are basically playing only warriors. We're looking to resolve this early and often, so we're expecting to get warrior locked every single turn functionally. So we want to build our extra deck around that. One Infernoble Knight all mace. So while this is equipped to a monster, you can equip an Infernoble Knight equip spell from your deck or grave. Except for it, to an appropriate monster you control, then destroy this card. If it's sent to the grave, because an equipped monster was sent to the grave, you can target one of your fire warriors with finisher in your grave, add it to your hand. So this just functionally is recursion if it does get removed, but more than not, it's just going to get a Durandal from our deck, which is an extra step. We are printing triple Durandal. If it's equipped, you can add a level 5 or lower fire warrior monster from your deck to your hand, then destroy this card. And if it's sent to the grave, because the equipped monster was sent to the grave, you can target a 5 or lower in your grave special, but you can't special summon monsters except warriors. So this card adds any of our free special summons from our deck. It adds just fire warriors, so we can even grab the Fighting Flame Swordsman too if we want to. So this card is just incredibly powerful in this deck, and we're going to be maxing out on it. Finally, our hand traps, we are on triple Imperm and triple Ash. Onto our extra, we are on one animal because we're running a lot of ones. We're on double Emperor Charles the Great, which is just big Charles but small. We're on one SP Little Knight, this is a warrior. We're on one Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. We can make it with a level 7 or higher, and it is a warrior. We're on one Typhon, not a warrior, but we can just, normal summon a Fire Flint Lady and make Typhon, which is really funny. We're on two Angelica, Princess of Noble Arms. If there's a special summon, you can add a Horn of Oliphant or a card that mentions Charles from your deck to your hand, which Museum does. When a card or effect is activated that targets a card in the field and this card is targeted for an attack quick effect, you can send one Fire Warrior from your deck to your grave, and if you do banish this card until the end phase, then you can special summon one Roland monster from your deck or extra. You can only use each effect once per turn. Next, Infernoble Knight Captain Roland. If this card is synchro summoned, you can activate the effect. Activate this effect during the end phase of this turn. Send one equip spell from your deck to the grave, then add one warrior from your deck to your hand. More than often going to be Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, just for our follow-up. And then during the main phase of this card's in the grave, quick effect, you can target a warrior you control, equip this to the monster's equip spell. So this is also interaction on our opponent's turn with our Charles. Next, one Stardust Charge Warrior. It's a warrior, it's a 6, we can make it in this deck. So we are just running the one of in here. The reason we can make it is because we do run Flame Swordsman. This does cheat out a 5 body, so this lets us access both Stardust Charge Warrior and Baron a little bit easier. So on summon, this just draws you a card, nice and simple. Charles, an equipped card becomes equipped to a monster on the field. Even during the damage step, you can destroy a card in the field. During the end phase, you can equip one equip spell from your hand or grave to this card. Then you can equip one Fire Warrior monster from your deck to this card as an equip spell. But it gives it 500 attack. You can only use each effect once per turn. So that's the reason we're playing Ogier, because we can just grab it straight from deck and make this guy untargetable. We are on one Baron. This is also a warrior. I think y'all know what Baron does. One Flame Swordsman. He uses Flame Manipulator and Masaki, the legendary swordsman. Unfortunately, we're not running those cards. I really wish we were, but we're not. And then lastly, our Ultimate Flame Swordsman. He uses Flame Swordsman and Fighting Flame Dragon. Doesn't matter. We're cheating it out. You can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. This is a quick effect if it's equipped with an equipped card. At the start of the damage step of this card battles, you can double this card's attack until the end of turn. But if you do destroy it at the end phase of this turn, you can only use each effect of Ultimate Flame Swordsman once per turn. So this card is functionally just another Charles on our opponents, just being able to pop a card on quick. It also is our time card. It burns them for 500. Although, since we're running Museum, 500 isn't enough to really offset the 1200 we're taking. That's it for the main and extra. Here are just some side cards before I end this video off and give you my final thoughts. We could play Roland. Roland just does what Captain Roland does, but a little bit worse. Excited to see Flame Tongue, the Blazing Magical Blade, or whatever the translation's going to be when it comes over. Needs 2 fire monsters. This is probably going to be a card that could potentially see play in the deck when it does come out. Base of spells and traps can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You can target one of your banished fires, add it to your hand, and if you do, you can't activate cards or effects of the card that mentions it for the rest of the turn. This is functionally like Salamangreat for Infernoble in my mind. Sorry, not just Salamangreat in general. This is Sunlight Wolf for this deck, and I believe protects your cards. It's like a mix between Balinx and Sunlight Wolf. It's probably not like fantastic just because you can't use the card immediately. This deck isn't necessarily a resource engine deck. It more just puts up a bunch of interactions. But now that Isolde is gone, it might just transfer over to a resource management deck. And lastly, our two Infernobles that we're not playing, Hot Claire and Joyeuse. We could play them, however, now that we're not playing Isolde, there's not really any reason to play them. So that's the reason they're not included in this deck today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you still are, I appreciate all the support, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.